one thing the Browns have had for a long time is the leadership spot as far as salary cap is concerned. And you take a look at the top 5 teams salary cap wise. This from overthecap.com. The Browns with 37 million, then the Redskins 36, Lions at 29, Eagles at 24, and Jets also at 24. And it's interesting. You take those 5 teams there, and the only one that's coming off a winning record would be the Eagles, and that's at 24 million. And everybody else under the cap at this point, I think they've given up on chasing any of the big guys, except maybe the Browns still in the hunt for one or two. Might be, obviously, Jadeveon Clowney is one they're still talking about. Larry Warford is one, and Everson Griffen. And the Browns have the most salary cap space if they want to use it. Ian Rappaport questions if Warford makes more sense for the Browns than Clowney. You hear what he had to say on 92.3 The Fan. He says, I was told that he basically was what he was going to make, so he wants $7 million. Do you want to pay $7 million for a guard who nobody else has signed for $7 million? Is that really what the value is that you want? The other part of it is that it would be half of Clowney's salary. Maybe that knocks you out of signing Jadeveon Clowney. Where would you like your resources? Do you want to spend $7 million for a guard, or do you want to spend double that for Clowney? The more I hear about Clowney, the less I want him. I don't know what you're hearing, D-Man.
Yeah, Les. Before I jump in on that, I just did a quick look at Kubiak's bio. It's been updated through or entering 2020. He is the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator for the Vikings under Zimmer. So it makes sense that he would stay once Stefanski got out. Kubiak is elevated right underneath the head coach.
All right,
regarding Clowney, the longer it goes, the more doubt I have, even though, Bus Cook is involved and he has Garrett and everything else. Another reason I think that it won't happen is because one of the PFF analysts recently on Twitter was talking about how the back seven is more important to solidify than necessarily the bookend edge rushers. And so you've got Miles. You're going to have to pay him a boatload. You really want to pour all that money into Clowney when PFF is telling you that, the second and third levels are just as important as that first level of defense. So my sense is they're not going to go with Clowney.
All right, let's take a look at what else is out there then. Larry Warford is 28 years old, 7 NFL seasons with the Lions and the Saints. His entire career has been at right guard. He gave up 6 penalties last year, 2 sacks allowed, 970 snaps. Jadeveon Clowney, only 27. That's what surprises me. I just think he's older, but 27 is what he is. 6 years in the league, 3 with the Texans, 3 with the Seahawks, 3-time Pro Bowler, 9.5 sacks given up last year, and 21 total tackles for losses, which is a career high in 2017. Are the Browns willing to add Clowney on a 1-year, $15 million deal? Then there's Everson Griffen, who intrigues me, a defensive end at 6'3", 273, played all with the Vikings, 10 NFL seasons, only 32 years old, 41 tackles, 11 tackles for losses, 8 sacks, 1 INT in 2019, and a 4-time Pro Bowler. He had a career high in 2017 of 13 sacks and 3 fumbles forced, and he's reportedly looking for about $10 million a year. Number one, if you had to make a pick, number one, you could stay away from it and just leave it as is, or you can pick Warford, Clowney, or Griffen. Given what you know, who would you pick of the 3, or would you just let it stand?
Yeah, I honestly don't know enough about Warford. I've heard of Griffen, of course, and he plays a position that compiles stats, unlike the offensive line. But I guess if I had to pick one, based on the graphic that Brian and Mike put up, the 1-year, $15 million Clowney is the one I would buy in to. And that's why, I don't blame the Browns if that, in fact, is the offer, 1 year at 15. That the Browns did that with several of their free agents. They want, they want the flexibility. They don't want to sign them long term. Those 1-year deals are kind of, good for the team as far as they can get out from under a guy if he's not performing.
And it's good for the player because the The player's playing for that one more contract.
Right. I don't blame Clowney for saying no thanks. Seeing if he can get a bigger deal elsewhere. Not even so much the guaranteed years, but the guaranteed money. As we know in the NFL, they can cut you at any time. But if you sign a 4-year guaranteed deal, you're getting maybe 60 million as opposed to a 1-year guaranteed deal getting 15. So I don't blame either party, the Browns or Clowney and his reps. I just wonder, here's as you said, Les. It does strike you that Clowney is as relatively young as he is, but this would be team number 3 already at his age. So that's got to tell you something that maybe isn't quite lining up.
Yeah.
And also, why hasn't he signed yet? I mean, even if you take the Browns out of the equation, why aren't other teams looking for?
He started asking for 21, and it's gotten down to the 14, 15 range at this point. 2-1